Welcome back to Courtroom Conversations on the classic Courtroom YouTube channel. I'm Dylan Brooks Hamilton, and as always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our deep dives into the most fascinating legal cases. Today we're joined by the brilliant Susan Kelly Ashford to dissect a case that sent shockwaves through the world of mixed martial arts, the civil trial of Conor McGregor.
It's great to be back. This case is a prime example of how messy things can get when legal battles involve such dramatically conflicting accounts.
You're not kidding. We're talking about allegations that McGregor sexually assaulted a woman in a Dublin hotel room back in December 2018. Now get this. Criminal charges were never filed due to insufficient evidence. But a civil case went to trial. And the verdict, well, the verdict is why we're here. So set the stage for us. What were the key points of contention in this unusual case?
This case really boils down to two completely different stories. The woman alleged that McGregor choked and threatened her, making her fear for her life, which was supported by a paramedic's testimony about the bruising she sustained. However, McGregor and his defense team painted a starkly different picture.
So McGregor denied the assault allegations.
Completely. He insisted that the encounter was consensual, even going so far as to describe the sex as athletic, and claim that the woman was fabricating the story. His lawyers really urged the jury to put aside any preconceived notions about McGregor's celebrity and focus solely on the facts presented.
It's fascinating that the defense used the term athletic sex. Makes me wonder, could that phrasing be a tactic to minimize the seriousness of the allegations?
That's a really astute observation, and it speaks to a broader conversation about the language we use when discussing consent and assault. It's certainly something to consider, especially given the power dynamics at play in a case involving a global celebrity like McGregor.
The defense also presented surveillance footage from the hotel, right?
They did. The footage, they argued, showed the woman appearing happy and relaxed after leaving the hotel room with McGregor. This was meant to cast doubt on her claims of fear and distress, but of course footage can be interpreted in various ways, and it doesn't necessarily tell the whole story.
That's where things get tricky, don't they? How can a jury possibly discern the truth when presented with such wildly different versions of events?
It's a challenge juries face all the time. It becomes a matter of weighing the credibility of both sides, examining the evidence meticulously, and ultimately deciding which narrative is more persuasive. And in this case, there's an added layer of complexity because it was a civil trial, not a criminal one.
That's right. For our viewers who might not be familiar with the legal distinctions, could you break down the difference between those two types of cases?
Absolutely. In a criminal case, the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt, which is an incredibly high standard. But in a civil case, the burden of proof is lower. The plaintiff, in this case, the woman accusing McGregor, only needs to prove her case by a preponderance of the evidence. Essentially, the jury has to decide which side's version of events is more likely to be true, even if some doubt remains.
So what did the jury decide after sifting through all of this? Do they believe the woman's allegations?
This is where it gets really intriguing. After deliberating for about 6 hours, the jury sided with the woman, awarding her nearly €250,000 in damages.
Wow, that's a significant judgment, especially considering there were no criminal charges. What does this verdict tell us about how the jury weighed the evidence and the credibility of both sides?
It's important to remember that a civil verdict doesn't carry the same weight as a criminal conviction. However, the jury's decision suggests they found the woman's account more credible, even without meeting the beyond a reasonable doubt standard required in a criminal court. This raises some fascinating questions about the role of civil courts in holding individuals accountable, particularly when criminal charges are not pursued.
So even though McGregor wasn't found guilty in a criminal court, this civil verdict could still have significant implications for his career and public image.
Absolutely. A civil judgment like this can damage a person's reputation, leading to the loss of endorsements or future opportunities. We've seen this happen with other high-profile figures accused of wrongdoing. The court of public opinion often operates independently of the legal system, and a civil verdict like this can certainly influence how the public perceives someone.
It sounds like this case has layers upon layers of complexity. What stands out to you as the most fascinating aspect so far?
What's truly captivating about this case is that it's not just about the legal outcome. It's a microcosm of larger societal conversations. It forces us to grapple with the nuances of consent, the power dynamics at play, and the challenges of determining truth in a he said, she said situation.
I'm completely with you. This isn't just about Conor McGregor. It's about how we as a society understand and address allegations of sexual assault, especially when those allegations don't result in criminal charges. This is a conversation that extends far beyond the courtroom.
Precisely. And it's a conversation that's just getting started. This case has ignited a debate that will likely continue for quite some time. And it's important to acknowledge the impact this case has had on the woman involved.
Absolutely. I could only imagine the immense courage it took for her to come forward with these allegations, knowing the potential backlash and public scrutiny she would face, especially given McGregor's global fame.
Her resilience throughout this entire ordeal is truly remarkable. She chose to speak out and pursue legal recourse, even without the support of criminal charges. That sends a powerful message to others who might be facing similar situations, demonstrating that there are multiple avenues for seeking justice.
It also highlights the fact that the court of public opinion and the legal system don't always reach the same conclusions. Even though McGregor wasn't criminally charged, the civil verdict reflects a belief, at least by the jury, that the woman's account was more likely true.
Precisely. And that distinction is crucial. The civil trial wasn't about proving McGregor's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It was about determining whether a preponderance of the evidence supported the woman's claims. The jury ultimately decided it did, leading to the substantial financial judgment against him.
This case really underscores the complexities of these types of allegations. It forces us to examine the nuances of consent, the weight of evidence, and the role of both legal and societal judgments in shaping our understanding of what happened.
It also raises important questions about how we define and address accountability, especially in cases where the legal system might not provide a clear-cut resolution. The civil verdict against McGregor demonstrates that accountability can take different forms, even when criminal charges aren't pursued.
It's clear that this case has far-reaching implications, not just for McGregor and the woman involved, but for the broader conversation surrounding sexual assault allegations, particularly those involving high-profile figures.
This case has the potential to influence future cases, potentially encouraging others who have experienced similar situations to come forward and seek justice through civil avenues. It could also lead to a shift in how these types of allegations are handled, both within specific industries and in the legal system as a whole.
It's definitely a landmark case that will continue to spark discussion and debate, and it's a reminder that we need to approach these conversations with nuance, sensitivity, and a willingness to listen to and believe survivors.
I couldn't agree more. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into this complex and fascinating case, I'd love to hear your final thoughts. What's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will ponder as they reflect on this case?
For me, the biggest takeaway is the importance of understanding the distinct roles of the criminal and civil justice systems. While the criminal justice system aims to punish wrongdoing, the civil justice system focuses on providing redress for harm, in this case. Even though McGregor wasn't criminally convicted, the civil verdict acknowledges the harm caused and offers a measure of accountability.
That's a powerful insight, and it underscores the fact that justice can take many forms. This case is a testament to the fact that legal avenues for seeking redress exist even when criminal charges aren't filed.
It also reminds us that we shouldn't jump to conclusions based solely on public opinion or media coverage. The legal process is complex, and it's crucial to examine the evidence and understand the legal standards involved before forming judgments.
Well said. This case has certainly provided a wealth of information and insights. And now, as we reach the end of our deep dive, I'd like to pose a question to our viewers. How do you think the public perception of Conor McGregor might change, or not change, in light of this civil verdict? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Classic Courtroom channel for more thought-provoking deep dives into the world of law.
Excellent question. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us on this journey through the courtroom. We appreciate your engagement and insightful comments. Until next time, stay curious and keep those legal minds sharp.
It's also crucial to remember that McGregor has consistently maintained his innocence throughout this entire ordeal.
That's an important point to emphasize. While the civil jury ultimately sided with the woman, this verdict doesn't equate to a finding of guilt in a criminal court. The legal standards and burden of proof are vastly different.
Exactly. McGregor's defense team vigorously contested the allegations, and the lack of criminal charges highlights the complexities of the evidence and the high bar for prosecution in a criminal case.
This case is a powerful illustration of how public perception and legal outcomes can sometimes diverge. The civil verdict carries weight and undoubtedly impacts McGregor's public image, but it doesn't necessarily rewrite the narrative of what transpired that night.
Absolutely. It adds another layer of complexity to an already intricate case, prompting us to consider the multifaceted nature of truth, accountability, and justice.
This case really challenges us to think critically about how we assess information, weigh evidence, and form judgments, especially in cases involving high-profile individuals.
It also raises important questions about the influence of celebrity culture on legal proceedings. McGregor's fame and notoriety undoubtedly play a role in shaping public opinion and media coverage, adding another layer of complexity to an already sensitive case.
It's a reminder that even in the pursuit of justice, fairness, impartiality, and a nuanced understanding of the complexities involved are paramount.
This case is a microcosm of larger societal conversations about consent, accountability, and the pursuit of justice in a world grappling with the complexities of human behavior.
Thank you for joining us on Courtroom Conversations and sharing your insightful analysis of this captivating case.
The pleasure was all mine. It's always a privilege to engage in such thought-provoking discussions.
And to all our viewers, thank you for tuning in to the Classic Courtroom YouTube channel. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into fascinating legal cases, and be sure to leave your thoughts on this complex case in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and keep those legal minds engaged.